In today's video, I'm making some super trendy t-shirts using Printable HTV. I'll be creating two different types of popular images. The first is the crochet style, and the second is the collage or newspaper style. Teckwrap Craft sent this over for me to share, and they're also giving us 15% off the material. I'll put all the info for that down in the description box. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribed, and let's get into the video. Here's what Teckwrap Craft sent over. I have printable heat transfer vinyl. This uses an inkjet printer, which is really any home printer that you have, and it prints in full color, which is really great for the designs that I'm going to be using today. It comes with a couple parchment paper sheets, the actual printer paper, and a couple masks. They also sent over a package of heat transfer mask and a crafting tool set. You can use the 15% off discount code on all of these. There's some really helpful instructions also. I'm starting off in Creative Fabrica. This is where I found my designs, and I have two different design types that I'm going to show you. The first images that are really trendy right now is the crochet look. These look really neat on shirts. I'll just click on one to show you. Here's kind of an example. The one that I'm using today is this. I thought it looked so bright and colorful. And I'll show you a close-up so you can see how it has that yarn look to it. The other popular and trendy images is this collage or newspaper style. You kind of have to get creative when you type this in, but here's an example of one. I really love these. I remember when I was a kid, I would cut out magazine photos and piece it together, so it's definitely nostalgic for me. The one I'm using is this one. I absolutely loved this image, and once again, it's super bright and colorful too. I downloaded both of these, and I'll go over to Cricut Design Space. I'm just in a blank canvas. I've already uploaded these. To do that, you just hit upload and you find it in your downloads folder. I'll just upload this one first. You can see with it close up how it has that yarn look to it. I'm going to make this smaller. I'm just going to make it 8.5 inches. One thing with this image is the edges have a lot of little curves to it. I think this would cut out okay on the Cricut, but to make it a little easier, I'm just going to do an offset. So I'll go to edit and select offset. I'm just going to make it a lot smaller. We'll just try that. I'll hit apply. Normally with offsets, I make it white, but this has black in it, so I think that would actually work better. So I'll change it from this gray color to black. You can still see there's some curves in that offset, but I feel like it might cut out a little bit better. Next, what I need to do is highlight over both of these, and I need to flatten it together. One thing you'll notice, there's an exclamation mark on the side. This is too big for my sheet. Part of the problem is it's a square and it's going on an 8.5 by 11. I'm just going to auto resize. It'll make it the max size it can be. So that makes it about 7.5 inches, which is a little small for an adult shirt, but it will work. Now I'm ready. I'll hit the make button. I'm going to send this to my printer. I'll keep the bleed on and turn on my system dialog. I just want to make sure I change the quality to best. That'll get those bright, vibrant colors when it prints out. The material has a glossy and a matte side. You want to print on the matte side. You'll want to know which way your printer prints. I have to put the glossy side up. It prints kind of the opposite of what you would think. I like printable heat transfer vinyl a lot when you have lots of colors in your design. If you're doing just normal heat transfer vinyl, it would be very difficult to have this many colors. For my cut setting, I'll select Browse All Material, and I am going to choose Printable Iron. I'm going to do Iron On Dark. Also, compared to like sublimation, I like how printable heat transfer vinyl can go on several different fabric types and different colors. With sublimation, it has to be white, light gray, and it has to be a high polyester count. When the Cricut's done cutting it out, I can go in and weed out my design. For this one, it's easy. It's just the white paper and black registration lines. I love this design. It looks so cool. I set my heat press to 315 degrees for 15 seconds. The pressure I did 170, which is the highest amount. I'm using my HTV AutoPress 2. I'm going to fold the shirt in half and preheat it. This finds the center and it removes all that moisture from the t-shirt. I press it for 5 to 10 seconds. Since this design is just one big square, I don't need the mask for this, so I'll show you an example without that. In the next one, I will use the mask. I'm just carefully removing this from the backing. I used the weeding tool, but I made sure that I didn't dig it into that ink at all. It was rolled up a little bit, so I just gently rolled it the other way so it would lay a little flatter. Next, I'll use my t-shirt ruler to get it all lined up. I place my Teflon sheet on top. It's a little heavy, so it flattened it some. Then I'll press the shirt. This is the auto press, so it automatically presses it. I do have to make sure I hit the A button though. The Teflon sheet got stuck underneath the heat press, but here the shirt is done. I don't have to remove a carrier sheet or anything. This is very beginner friendly and it feels nice and thin on the shirt. Next, I'll be grabbing this collage style design. I actually really like this style. It's so fun. I'm going to make this one 9.5 inches. This one's more narrow, so it should be able to fit a little better on the page. I am going to add an offset for this one too. Some designs you don't have to have an offset, but if you zoom in on this one, you can see these little specks over here. There's a whole bunch of that. Because of that, I'll add an offset. If it was all just straight like this bee, then it'd be fine. You would not need an offset. But because of those little specks, you do need one. I'll hit edit and select offset. I'm going to make it as thin as possible, which is 0.028. For this one, I'll change it to white. To see the offset a little better, I can change the background. And now you can see that white. The white around it really fits in well with this. Even the bow already has kind of a white offset around it. And like I said, not every image has to have an offset, but the two I chose, I found it easier to do it. Now I need to highlight over both layers, select flatten. I think the size is great. I'm just going to change it back to 9.5. Then I'll hit the make button. Like I said, this design fits the sheet a little bit better since it's not a square. I'll follow the same process for this. I'm not going to turn my bleed on though. This has a white background already, so I don't feel like I need to. Change this. Now that it's printed, I will select that same cut setting. This is just such an easy way to make shirts at home. Also, if you have special occasions where you want everybody wearing the same shirts or more personalized, it makes it really easy. This one has a little bit more weeding, but it weeds so smoothly. I really love the crochet designs. There's some fun ones for the holidays, but this is just really unique and different, so I love this as well. The masks have little tabs on it to help peel it away and open it. How awesome is that? I've never seen that before, and it's very helpful. These masks are really sticky, so I like to de-tack them some. To do that, I press some type of fabric over it. Then I place it on top. These are basically like transfer sheets to hold all the pieces together. I use the scraper tool to press it down. Then I just remove the backing. When using the mask, I lower the temperature to 300 degrees and the pressure to 110. I'll show you why in just a little bit, why I needed to lower it. I have my shirt preheated already, and I'll just line up my design. I make sure the shirt is flat on the heat plate. I add my parchment paper, then load it into the machine. With this machine, I can adjust the pressure, but if you're using a regular heat press or an easy press, I would just use medium pressure. When it's done, you need this to completely cool down before you remove the mask. I move it off the heat plate and on a table because that cools it down a lot faster. After a few minutes, it's cooled off and I can remove the mask. I do this very slowly. I just want to make sure everything stuck down well. I want to show you a t-shirt I did before this to help you if you run across this issue. The mask took up a tiny bit of the ink. You can see little specks in this. What I found to completely fix the issue was to lower my temperature. So I went from 315 to 300 and to lower the pressure. I did the heaviest pressure and switched it to medium. I also recommend detacking the mask and using a parchment paper sheet. Once I changed that, look how this turned out, just super bold and vibrant colors. I'm so happy with how this turned out. The design is super neat. I'll put the washing instructions on the screen and you can screenshot it if you want to. Here's a close-up of the crochet design. I'm blown away by the colors in this. The quality of the material is just really good. You can get 15% off the material and a crafting tool set. I'll put the info down below. This will only go through April 6th. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in my next one.